Hello, my fellow foes. I'm going to be watching their Run to You It's live band performance of the song. So I am excited to see, like, how it's going to sound with the new, like, what's it called? Instrumentals, like, being live, and obviously the rearrangement of it in a way. But we're just going to go ahead and watch, y'all. Do-do-do-do. And then like doing that. Cute. Ooh! This sounds really good with like the band or like the specific part of the song. Cute! Hey, come on, Daisuke. Hey. Hey. 결국엔 내가 향하는 곳에 No matter where you are 너에게 닿을새 가있게 하나뿐인 나의 목적지 You Run to you, run to you 널 향해 run to you Ooh, okay. What? And then they do the little intro or like introduction at the end. Why are they doing matter legs?
안녕하세요, 아홉입니다. 저희 아홉이 이치 라이브에서 Run to You 들려드렸는데요. 예!
Woo!
저희 타이틀곡 Run to You는 일렉밴드와 신스팝이 어우러진 곡으로 복잡한 순간들 속에서도 단 한 사람을 향해
I think Jung was like holding onto jail so he doesn't slide forward.
이치 라이브를 통해 들려드렸으니까 많이 찾아봐 주시고 들어봐 주세요.
지금까지
아홉이었습니다. 감사합니다.
And the little running. This is like the little like teaser that they did yesterday when they announced that they're gonna be on here. Okay. I really like the band version of it, like a lot, like not a lot, like maybe like a smidge more, but it's because like with the other performances of like them on here, they have somewhat they have somewhat of like a backtrack, but I think it just depends on um like what is like more trickier to do live, you know what I mean? So like sometimes like the synth and stuff like that, they use that like part of that like backtrack, and then the rest of it's like actual live instrumentals, where here it sounded way more like literally everything was just the live band doing, like actually performing it, and them, you know, singing to it, instead of, you know, there being some part of the backtrack and then the rest of it's like the band playing it. So I like that about this version of the song from the ones we have seen before. I think the only thing is like obviously like I think at some parts I think they had the band a little too much, like a little bit higher than some of the other like some of the members that were singing. So for example, I couldn't hear Woongi at times. I couldn't hear Jungwoo at times. I think for Cheon, I couldn't hear him at times either. Like those three, I didn't hear them much. Like I could hear them, but like the band like kind of overpowered like their volume for their vocals, if that makes sense. So that was like the only thing that I like was complaining, like not complaining about, but not really complaining about. Just like, oh, like I wish they would have done like checked a little bit more on that part. The other thing is that like, oh, I'm like my little like they just seem still so like nervous a little bit, which again, for when it comes to like It's Live, sometimes some people actually do parts of the choreo, which we saw like Schreiber and what's called Han doing like at least like just like hand gesturing like parts of the choreo, which again that's like normal. I always see people or other artists do that. But I feel like they were, most of the time they were just like stick straight, like not sure like what to do, like because they're not trying to do the choreo, they're just like performing the song like vocally. So I wish they could have would have like, I needed them to like loosen up a little bit and kind of like, you know, towards the end they were actually like, you know, having looked like they were having a lot more fun with it, and kind of like, okay, they kind of calmed down, and they were just like, oh yeah, like so we saw like Juwon and like Daisuke kind of moving around at the end, and then also like JL here and there like kind of going like this, like that was kind of funny and cute. But I needed them to kind of loosen up a little bit. But other than that, again, like I really liked this version of the song a little bit more. I really want them just to do like a whole like I mentioned before, a whole like concert like album. Like I have seen other I've seen Boy Next Door do it. I've seen obviously NCT has done it before in the past too. So like, you know, live versions of them like singing it, or like an actual, you know, soul like album where like there's actual like, you know, a band like playing it, if that makes sense. Like I know, you know, it is actual people making like doing the instrumental whenever they make the songs, but for obviously for some like I mentioned, some of it just sounds different than, you know, the instruments that we actually hear in the song, like then rather than, you know, when we hear it on here and it's being played, or like on Weverse for like Weverse Con 2, like where you actually can hear like a little bit of difference when an actual like when it hasn't been like so much like polished, if that makes sense. Like it's still kind of like the more like natural nitty gritty of like someone actually playing the instrument, so it adds a little bit more of a different vibe to the song to it, like if that makes sense. So I think that's what I really liked, I love about, you know, It's Live, is that they get to hear kind of a little bit of the not so clean like and cut and, you know, like produced part of like, you know, the songs that we always hear like from the albums, like when we stream them online or from the CD. So it gives a little bit more of like a natural vibe. But other than that, again, really liked it. I just need them again to like kind of, you know, loosen up, kind of like, you know, like just, you know, enjoy. Like again, they were really enjoying it towards the end, but like they were just stuck in the same like, you know, formation with the straight line. I don't know if that's necessarily because they told them to do that, because it would be harder for them if they kept moving around. But I have seen other groups kind of move around a little bit to like, you know, kind of take away from it looking like so like, you know, in a formation and in a line, or kind of, you know, add a little bit of movement, so they're not just like standing in a position to singing, if that makes sense. But other than that, again, really liked it, really enjoyed it. Again, really want them at some point and them as a group to have like a band live vocal like version like of songs, you know, just like it doesn't have to be like the whole like a whole set of new songs. Like I would love, like it would be cool if they did like a whole like compilation from the different albums, if that makes sense, where they choose certain songs, kind of like how we see again for the for albums when they take them off of like their tour stops and record it from there, kind of like that, because it's like it gives more that nitty gritty and kind of, you know, more like captures like the moment, if that makes sense, of that time, you know. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in the next one.